Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am here today for my final Jane Iredale base review video. I have done every other base product they have, their loose powder, their pressed powder, their matte foundation, their BB cream, and now we have the tinted moisturizer. And the reason I waited a little bit to do this one is because I knew they were going to end up reformulating it, which they did. And the old Dream Tint, which this is still called Dream Tint, but the old one in the older packaging is no longer. I think you might be able to get it like on Amazon and a couple of other retailers from old stock that they have. But this is the new formula, which just recently came out, maybe last month, possibly the month before. I never did a separate review of this on my channel previously. And I think I only used it in like a makeup look once in the old formula. So let's go ahead and look at the new formula. This is $50. Now that is before my discount. I always have a 20% off code at Harbin House, which is where I personally get all of my Jane Iredale products. It comes in a 1.7 fluid ounce squeeze tube, which is typical for a tinted moisturizer. And there are 7 shades, which are, I'm looking at my computer, light, medium, medium dark, dark, warm bronze, and peach brightener. So let's talk about the main differences as far as ingredients go in the old version versus this new version. I was able to track down an old ingredient list and compare it to the new one. And while I didn't hit on every single thing, these are the main takeaways that I got as far as what they took out and what they added. The old version had a total of 23 ingredients. The new version has a total of 28. So they did add 5 ingredients. This does have an SPF 15 in it, which is negligible. Like, please do not use this as your SPF. It is just there. It's not gonna hurt anything, but it's certainly not going to be enough to protect you if this is the only SPF you're wearing. Things that they took out, at least the main things that I could see: algae extract, dimethicone, jojoba esters, glycerol acrylate, and grapefruit extract. Things that they added are triglycerides, hydrolyzed rhodophysia extract, probably not correct, safflower oil, alumina, grapeseed extract, linalool, limonene, and geraniol. Y'all. I even practiced this before I hit record. A lot of good that did. And lactobacillus ferment, which if you watched my last skincare spotlight video, you know that is something that I have found I can't really take in large quantities or else I will break out. This does contain lavender oil. The old version did as well, but they did add the linalool, linomene, and geraniol, which are all fragrance ingredients in this new version. So now they have quite a few different fragranced, they're not synthetic, but they're still fragrance ingredients added. So if you are sensitive to any oils, any fragrance ingredients, anything, please check your ingredients on everything you use, but especially this one. So now that we've gone over the price and the size and the ingredient changes, let's hop into the demo so you can see how this wears on the skin, and then we will get to my final thoughts. Let's go ahead and demo this product, shall we? Again, I'm in the shade medium. I have on my Numbuzzin sunscreen right now, so no tint whatsoever. So this is what I'm dealing with as far as redness. I would say it's probably medium redness for me. And despite this being a tinted moisturizer, I am gonna apply it with a brush. And I'll talk more about why in my final thoughts. Typically, I apply tinted moisturizers with my hands like I would a moisturizer. This is the shade medium. It is pretty thick for a tinted moisturizer. It's not runny. And I'm just going to dot this and use my 115 It Cosmetics brush and just press it into the skin. This has sheer to light coverage. And I find that if I rub it or buff it, the coverage is just really not there at all. So I really like to just press it into the skin to achieve the most coverage that this product is going to give. It is very heavily scented. It is not a synthetic fragrance. I talked about the ingredients in the intro, but you will smell this when you put it on. This is most definitely the most scented Jane Iredale base product. So the shade medium is perfect, and it did cover up a little bit of the redness. Let's go ahead and finish up this side of my face, and then we'll see if we need to build it and how well it builds. I can see a little bit more of my redness through it on this side. So what I'm gonna do is take a little bit more, just place it over my redness on both cheeks, and then just stipple it into that area. Really concentrating it where I want that extra coverage. And it does build a little bit, but you're really not gonna get more than a light coverage. And see, the more I stipple it, the more it kind of takes it away. So it's just not something to expect coverage from. But that can be said for a lot of tinted moisturizers, most tinted moisturizers. I can't get over the overwhelming smell of this product. And it is a lavender smell. It is coming from the lavender oil. I cannot stand lavender as a scent, so it is not an enjoyable experience for me to apply this because of that. It does not linger throughout the day. By the time I get done with my makeup, I can't smell it anymore, but it is most definitely there when you apply it. Okay, so looking at it, it is actually pretty on the skin. It is a little patchy on my forehead, but I don't know if that's gonna come through or not. Not overly luminous, which I like. I mean, it's definitely got a radiance to it, but it's not really much more than I had when I first applied it or before I applied it from my SPF. So what I'm gonna do is finish up my makeup, and I will come back on, show you how it wears under what I wear today, and talk about kind of what else I've worn it under and give you my final thoughts. All right, I finished up my makeup, and except for the shadow on my lid, my eyeliner, and my lip gloss, it is a full Jane Iredale look. I set the tinted moisturizer with my Pure Press base. No secret how much I love this product. But let's go ahead and talk about my thoughts on this tinted moisturizer. I have tried it per usual when I am testing out a new product. I have tried it with multiple SPFs and multiple powders, and I've even tried it with other powder foundations, most notably the Fenty powder foundation. Now, this works great underneath my Bamboo Fit Glow powder, which has no tint to it, if you are looking for a sheer to light coverage. Obviously, putting a powder foundation on top of it is going to provide you with even more coverage. I do much prefer to apply it with a brush, and I mentioned in the demo that I was gonna speak about this, and this is why. I had this same SPF on, my Numb Buzzin', which I have gone through at least 2 or 3 tubes of that SPF. I use it all the time, and I feel like I have probably used it under every foundation, whether it be liquid or powder or cream that I have in my collection, and it has worked. So I had that SPF on. I attempted to put this on with my fingers, again, like I do with most tinted moisturizers, and it was probably the biggest hot mess I have had in makeup application in years. And I will put up a picture of what it did on my forehead, and this was just me using my fingers. And if you can see how it kind of created this space on my forehead where no product would adhere to, but then I had a ton of product above and below that space, I could not buff it out. I had to get a makeup remover to get this off my forehead. My fingers would not buff it out, a brush would not buff it out, and then I had to reapply my SPF and go over it again with a brush in this product. It just did not work using my fingers. And again, people might say it's because of the SPF. Maybe. But if I'm using an SPF that works under every other foundation that I own and it doesn't work with this, then I'm not going to attempt to apply it with my fingers again. So a brush is definitely my preferred application for this product. As you saw, it does not give more than a sheer to light coverage. It wears well throughout the day. It is less luminous on me than the Hydra Pure Tinted Serum, and even has almost less coverage, especially on the first layer. So when I first apply it, I feel like I get either the same or a little bit more coverage using the Hydra Pure Tinted Serum. Once I build this up with a second layer, I get maybe a touch more coverage, but not much. And it's just a little bit less luminous on my skin than the Hydra Pure. I would not say I feel like it's an intensely hydrating tinted moisturizer, especially compared to some other ones in my collection. So if you have combo to oily skin, this is something that might work for you. But my main thoughts about this product are that yes, I love it under my Pure Press base, but I love everything under my Pure Press base. I love this by itself. I don't feel like this looks any better than when I wear the Hydra Pure under the Pure Pressed, or another foundation under the Pure Pressed, or when I use the Pure Pressed by itself. So it's not something I'm like, oh, you've got to have because of how well it layers under this. Yes, it layers well. It's just not much different. For me personally, this is my least favorite Jane Iredale base product for a few reasons. The scent is just so overwhelming to me. And if I liked lavender, maybe I wouldn't mind it as much. But I also don't know that it's necessarily needed, especially all the other fragrance ingredients that they have added to this new formula. It has been a hot minute since I have used the old formula, but I do remember liking it a little bit more than this, but still it wasn't my favorite base product of the Jane Iredale line. So it's not just this formula. I'm not saying, oh, they ruined the formula versus the old one. It's never been my favorite. And the scent is just a little overwhelming. And the fact that they have added ferment into this, I could not wear it every day for that reason alone. I did wear it for like 3 days in a row, and I did start getting some of the bumps that I spoke about in my last skincare spotlight video, where I had figured out that fermented ingredients can cause a fungal acne flare-up on my cheeks. And I did start seeing that after using this consecutively for a few days. If I wait a few days in between, use it, wait a few days in between, use it, I don't have an issue with it. But because of that, it's not something I could use consistently anyways. Because of the scent, I don't want to use it consistently anyways. And because I'm not overly wowed and find that it's such a different product than anything else I have in my collection, I'm not going to use it much anyways. So all of that to say, it is not a bad product. If you like something that is very sheer to light, you want it to be a little bit thicker, you want it to be a little bit less luminous than other tinted moisturizers on the market, I mean, it might be something to look into. If you have nothing that you layer under your Pure Press base and you like the sound of this and the ingredients, it might be something to look into. But my final thoughts are, it's just not my favorite. I don't even envision myself reaching for it a ton, even though I love how it looks under the Pure Press base. I can't talk. And forget about even looking at the SPF. Y'all, if you choose to use this as your SPF factor, prepare to have sun on your face. SPF 15 with 2 pluses after your PA, which is the actual UVA rating, which are the rays that cause aging in the skin. It's just not enough. Even when you put another SPF product on top of it, please wear a separate SPF underneath it. Not sure if I answered all of the questions. If you have more, please don't hesitate to ask down in the comment section. Hopefully this was helpful. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.